Alright guys, welcome back to the channel and to the garden. Today we're just going to do a walk around and take a look at what's done well this year. A bit of a full tour, but also kind of new things we've added, new projects and some planting ideas. So right in the front here guys, you can see if you haven't, if you're coming from the last summer tour, you can see we've done quite a bit over here. Now this is an area that I haven't typically filmed in because this is where our outdoor barbecue and kitchen area has been, and it's generally been quite a mess here. If you take a look on the channel, we have just recently released a few new videos of sort of starting this project here. So just to see here guys, so for the things that have done not so great this year, you see we've got a formium which I've moved from the center bed just down here, which we'll take a look at in a minute. Really was struggling. I'm not sure kind of why this one hasn't taken off. I've got a purple and red variant that has done much better, which we'll take a look at in a second here. But you can see I've just taken a few of the cuttings of sort of evergreen sedums, placed them around this, keeping this as an evergreen bed as you first sort of come in through the back gate. Got the back door here as well, so this is kind of what you see as you step out from the back door. So just taking a look here guys, moving on down in this center bed here, this little one that we've made is a raised bed. This is a new Trachycarpus fortunei palm. It recently got on a great deal from B&M, so had to kind of use that, and it was always part of the design to have some sort of palm or tree fern, something like that in this section here, just while you've got the kind of starting of the barbecue area here. Of course, still a big mess, and apologies on all the mess around the garden here today guys. Again, as you can see, it is a bit of a darker day today. We have had a load of rain. I think this year has been an interesting summer, kind of not quite what we're used to, a bit milder as well, so that has affected some of the plant's growth here. Just taking a look guys, I've had my first pink china pop and moved that into this bed as well, and again you can see we've got some heuchera in the back here, one of the just summer bedding, a bit more of the sedum cuttings, and of course some heathers. Again, just really something cheap and cheerful to get in there just to kind of really start this bed. I probably will add other more tropical plants next year. As you can see, just panning over from here guys, now part of this as well, trying to create a good focal point, so as you come down the garden, creates kind of a direction for your eyes to go. You know, your first thing you see is the Trachycarpus palm here, then of course it leads your eyes down the path here. Another palm we have added this year since the last video guys is this Trachycarpus palm here as well, and now we're on to the summer bed here. Now guys, if it's your first time on the video, appreciate you coming in and watching. Of course, a like, share and subscribe really helps the channel to grow. Just moving down here guys, as we follow on down this path, you can see the Colocasia black sapphire gecko has really struggled and gotten really torn up by the winds here. Had one new leaf, two new leaves, sorry, that have come out. You can see that one just curling out there. But really kind of struggled this year. It may be the positioning again in a more shaded position here. Of course, this is going to go in for the summer, for the winter, sorry, be overwintered, so we'll try it somewhere new following that. Just following on here, guys, if you hadn't seen it before, we are building a massive pond and waterfall system here, still in the making. The ground is now just softening up a bit here. Another palm, guys, we added this year, this large Trachycarpus fortunei. Again, from previous videos, if you haven't seen sort of positioning and what kind of palms to get, we do have that on the channel. Check that out as well. This one was bought on at the larger size, really just to give us that pathway to get through here back to the back of the garden. Now as we pan across guys into the center bed here, you can see we've got our sedum water feature, done really well this year. Flowered in the beginning of the summer, you know, and spread like wild, so really pleased with this one here. In the middle, guys, we've got our 4-foot Dixonia Antarctica tree fern. Now, with this one here, you can see we've still got the posts kind of holding it up just to ensure that, you know, in this fairly exposed position here, that it doesn't get knocked over while it's rooting. I have checked it has started rooting quite a bit this year as well. Another one, guys, to take a look at is our Trachycarpus waggy fortunei. Princeps cross. Really only put out 2 leaves this year, and you can see some of the old die off already. So again, really hoping that sort of starts taking off once it's been in the ground a couple years. In front of you guys here is really just the summer bedding. Of course, this will all sort of go and be replaced. Got a couple perennials in here as well. You've also got your Canna hybrids. Hart's tongue fern, and the hostas. Now the hostas are really coming to the end of the season now. I'm noticing my patches have really started to take a decline. Next to that, guys, you can see the azaleas here really starting to get ready to flower in the spring. There's a lot of new growth on those. If I just step back here, guys, I just want to show you, this is my view from my kitchen window. So when I look out here, I get a nice panning view from the kitchen window, you know, of all the palms and things like that. So again, guys, part of the kind of planning when it goes into it, again, is your kind of focal point. So from the kitchen, this is kind of where the design originally started, because it's what I look out and see every day. As you'll notice as well, guys, a lot of this is evergreen. So in the winter, we should have a majority of this, you know, green still in the garden here. Just coming off the center bed, guys. Another one that's done really well is we've got this cordyline australis. Now that's come up nicely this year. You know, really pleased with the growth on that. Panning over, guys, in this bed, some more summer bedding. You got some canna hybrids. Again, as mentioned before, we added a lot of these small Trachycarpus palms this year. Got a great deal on them, so using them to create a lot of structure around. Got another one of the black sapphire pots here. Again, you can see, guys, it has also kind of struggled in the winds. I think it has, you know, been catching the yucca here. Again, on that, the yucca's done absolutely lovely this year, really put on some great growth. As you can see, it's already got a decent size little trunk in there. Next to that, we've got the Brunnera. Of course, I love the kind of patterning on these. We'll be looking to add more of these around the garden. So speaking about what kind of things I want to add next year, I'm going to be adding a lot more of the pink china around. We're also going to do a lot more of the Musabastu. You can see this baby one here is put on some decent size. Also, guys, you can see there's leaf litter underneath. That's from simply kind of chopping the lower leaves really to promote that height on that one. Next to that, guys, we've got the Trachycarpus Fortunae Princeps hybrid. Again, this one's put out some lovely growth, probably about 4 or 5 new leaves this year, and you can see we've got one coming out already. Don't know if I'll be able to catch it on camera, guys, but it does already start to have a very nice white underside on that, which of course, as that grows, will really come in well. Off the back here, guys, we have our hops. Now this is a Fuggles hop, and it's done absolutely well. It's about a 5-year-old clump, this one. You can see it's taken up majority of the fence here as we step back. I do like the you know, the way it looks. Also great leaf patterning and structure, but also when the hops do come out, has a lovely smell to it here. Just looking down, guys, we've got the hardy fuchsias. Now, again, maybe not so much of a tropical plant, but I do love the little color pops it adds sort of around the garden. Just panning along here, guys, there is actually a rose in there somewhere. So again, I think it may struggle. It's been sort of enveloped by the hops. Now, typically, guys, with the hops, I would trail them along the fence. This year I have been a bit lazy, a lot of projects going on, so kind of just let it run wild, basically. And you can tell that here. Just coming down, guys, the Washingtonia that, again, we thought we lost at the beginning of the year has put up some new leaf, but it's really kind of stalled at this point, so I'm not sure if it's going to make it through the winter on this one. We'll have to kind of find out. Behind that, you can see just the remains of a Musabastu pup that I cut from the mother. Now, again, I don't think we got enough roots on it, and as you can see, it is really struggling to do anything. I think it's going to be dead soon. Pink china, another clump here, guys. Again, starting to size up on this one. Not very big. I mean, you're still talking sort of 6-inch leaves on this one, so it's not one of my biggest ones that I've got here. Next to that, guys, the blue ferns really come out lovely as well. You can see that lovely style leaf on that. Fantastic sort of, you know, changing color between all the different styles of leaves and things in here. Again, guys, very overgrown, as you can see. Panning around here off the back of the fire pit area, got another one of the Trachycarpus palms. We've got some yuccas that we've moved. Now these have done excellent. Again, just dug these into the dirt with no roots or anything, and it's done that this year. Really pleased with that. Cordyline that died, guys, has put on some massive growth here. That's probably nearly 4.5 to 5 foot tall, and that's come up from the ground last year. It's got about 4 or 5 heads on it, so it'll be interesting to see that grow. Also, maybe interesting because it's right next to another one of our larger Trachycarpus palms as well here. Just coming back off the back of the bed, guys, we've got the Yucca Jewel. Really not done much this year here. Following around, the Musa sycamensis. This has done actually really well. put out probably 8-9 leaves. So yeah, I know it's a little bit slower than the Bastiu, but you know, I think once that really gets its feet in the ground, it will again, you know, put on some great height next year as well. Certainly on that side. So panning off here, guys, Xanthodius done also very well as well. Again, that's about 4 or 5 foot. It is starting to have some die off now, which is kind of to be expected. Moving on to the mini golf course, guys, you can see we replaced the conifers and things that were there, added more of the Trachycarpus palms. Now the recent rain, as you can see, has actually flooded the course and is just kind of coming off of it, guys, here. Just looking back on the mini golf, guys, again, you got some hostas, some ferns, again, underplanted, and that's right underneath our very large rhododendron. Looking forward to the flowers in spring. Lovely purple flowers. You can just see start of the flower buds here as well. Again, part of the idea of this, guys, is kind of layering, planting plants that will go, you know, different times of years. You get different color displays. You know, the tropicals, of course, where those are more your end of season. But of course, I like to have that spring interest as well here. That's one of the large camellias we've got on the course, guys. I won't go too much into these. Most of these are pretty common plants in repetition. As we move into the back center bed here, guys, again, this is the Phormium I mentioned that has done really well. That's put on a lot of growth this year, now approximately sort of 4 foot. The Yucca, again, lovely colors on these. These will be putting out sort of flower spikes at some point. I don't know if they will this year, but I have had some late in the winter do that as well. Again, this has come up great this year, and I love the kind of bluey color that you get on these here. Looking back, guys, the Canna Pretoria, still flowering at the moment. Lovely flowers on those. Again, this is the hosta patch that has another one that has sort of started its deterioration for the year. Coming down here, guys, and again, guys, apologies for all the weeds. Now we come on to one of the larger pink chinas that we have, and I'll just briefly show you the leaf on that one. As we come around, this is the Phoenix canariensis that we thought had died, and you can see there's nothing really come back up. We'll see what happens with that. I'm not very concerned on that one. I do think it's probably not going to make it. This pot has sprung out a bunch of weeds in the past week and a half, so I do really need to get those out of there. Coming to the back of the course, guys, the wisteria, again, lovely growth this year, climbing up over the fence. The idea is to get it kind of trailing all the way down here. Looking back down, we've got one of the purple grasses. There is an Adena that I've transplanted here, or heavenly bamboo. Now with this one, I'm not expecting much. I've had luck with some and others die off, so we'll just see. It's a cutting from my other large plant in the garden, so it doesn't cost me anything, and I think sometimes the experiment's worth it here. Coming along the back bed, clematis is just finishing its flowers for the year. We've taken a cutting of the Forestii tree that we have in the front of the garden, in the middle bed in the front. Again, just going to see if that roots. We've got Fatsia, quite light on these leaves. It really was shaded by a lot of other plants before I've kind of cleaned out this bed here, guys. So I think it's going to kind of darken up as we go. This back area doesn't get a huge amount of light. I mean, it is still fully open to the sun. As you can see, guys, we really don't have any sort of canopy around the garden here. So it is a full sun garden that we've got here. Again, while we're on it, this is one of the budulas. Again, very common plant, but I do like how it flowers pretty much all year, and I like to kind of tree them up, so eventually get that quite high into a tree, create a bit of a canopy. The bamboo that we took a cutting from is doing fairly well, so I'm going to leave that in its pot and just let that clump in there, hopefully. Again, as we panned around back to where we were, you've got the another one of the forms of yucca. This is much thinner. I believe this is either the Gloriosa or Adam's Needle. I was getting confused. On that side, guys, down here we've got a Musa Cavendish. Hasn't done really well at all. Of course, is not winter hardy, so we'll be digging that up at the end of the year anyway, and just carrying it on as a house plant if it does anything. I mean, they're so inexpensive these days, guys. You know, you can pretty much use them as summer bedding on that side. Following on, Tetrapanics started to put out some lovely sized leaves. I can just get in there and show you. Really nice size now. Of course, these can get a lot larger. This is a Papyrifera. It is not the Rex form, so not going to get those giant leaves, but it will get a bit larger than that. Great woody stem under there, guys. That's probably around about 18 inches now. So Really happy with that this year. And again, this is one I'm going to be adding more of around the garden this year. Just following down from here, guys, just to show you the size on the pink china. Again, much bigger. I would say probably 18-inch or around about a foot leaf on that size there. Really happy with that. One of the baby onset morellis has done fairly well, hoping that puts on a bit more trunk this year, so I can dry store it with my other large one, which we'll take a look at in a minute. Back bed here, guys. This is the raised back bed, so more of a kind of gravel and better drainage. We've got the butia. Again, old leaves on it are still showing that kind of orangey color, but we have had a few new leaves come out this year. Just panning down again, you can see we've got another cordyline, yucca jewel, and another yucca there. A lot of repetition in the garden. I find it kind of marries it all up nicely and gives you a kind of general feel. Aeonium, again, fantastic growth on this year. Really happy with that. Moving back here, this is one of the smaller Musa Bastu, new this year. Again, great growth, good size base on that already, so very happy with that again, guys, here. As we come back, and I'll take a step back, this is the bracken. Again, maybe controversial here, but I'm quite interested to get a clump growing in there, as it can get up to sort of 6 to 7, even 8 feet high. So just something that's very common, but again, something you don't really see in gardens and more kind of in just the kind of woodland areas, things like that. Guys, looking here, another Trachycarpus palm, another clump of the pink chinas, and now we'll just pan back to show you kind of the back bed here. You can see we've got a large clump of the Musa Bastu, done fantastic this year. It's a third-year clump, probably somewhere in the order of about, sort of 12, almost 15 foot high now. Massive bases in it, guys. Really pleased with that. So looking forward to seeing what the growth does next year. This is one of our largest colocasia leaves. Again, pink china. Grow this one as it's ground hardy. Really don't need to do much for winter protection. Looking down, guys, Persicaria cutting started at the beginning of this year that was free to me. Has just exploded. So using that as cuttings around the garden. Again, probably going to plant a lot of that this year. As we come down, guys, you can see bamboo's done fantastic this year again. Really pleased with that. Starting to brown off a little bit now. A lot of that's due to the water. We have had quite a dry spell, I've noticed. So I did miss a couple waterings around the garden, and I can see, on some plants here what's done. Again, guys, large onset morelli, second year, probably up to about 6 foot now. Very pleased with that again. That will be dry stored in the cupboard over the winter. We've got the Canapertoria. Now this one, I'm a bit worried it might be virus, so I'm going to keep a close eye on this one, and I may just bin it just to, stop any sort of spread around the garden, really. My other clump is absolutely fine. As you pan over here, you can see back to that bed. That one's done absolutely fine. No signs of anything on that. This one is really showing some wear. Again, not sure if it's water. We'll have to see. As we come back off the back bed, guys, coming back to the pond area, just looking here, sorry, we've got the triple trunk Chamaerops, again, done fantastic this year. Really pleased with this. Again, you can see lovely form on that one. Here, coming back to the back bed, another area, guys, we're going to be planting more of. As you can see here, we've got another Trachycarpus, a few of the baby Dixonias. We're going to try and make this kind of a fernery back here. One of the larger 1-foot Dixonias done great this year, so really pleased with that growth. Looking down, you've got the variegated cordyline. Now, really, it struggled this year. It died off completely, which I thought, and it's come back to that now. Here, guys, Musella lasiocarpa next to Brunnera. That's going to be left in the ground. Hopefully we get that lovely golden lotus flower on that at some point in a few years, if it does survive. Down here, guys, on the jungle path, you can just see, guys, the yucca's grown massive. We've got the zebra grasses that have gone in. Love the kind of style that we're getting back here. Got one of the heucheras. Again, seems to be evergreen for me. I've got another pink china clump. As we move down here, guys, you've got a Musa acumata grandnain, the Chiquita banana that'll be coming in this year. It's not ground hardy at all. Another onset, as well as the Musa Siam ruby. Now again, with this one, not ground hardy at all, so will be coming in for the year. As we just come back off here, guys, just take a look down, and we can see here one of the large Washingtonias went in this year. I'm really hoping the protection of the fence, in the area back here will give it just enough to get through. So bit of a test on that one. I haven't had great luck on these. Just as we come last over here, guys, coming back here, you can just see our other bed where the water feature is, And on here, guys, you got the Washingtonia clump, the only one that's done okay for me this year. Again, I think it's next to the fence that's done that for us here. A lot of repetition in the garden, as you can see, but just wanted to give you guys an update and a sort of end of summer tour. Finally, with that, guys, of course, yes, if you haven't subscribed already, really appreciate the subscribes, likes, and comments. And of course, any other suggestions, guys, for the garden. Really interested to know what kind of plants we could add to continue with the jungle look. Of course, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.